energy vampires, please don't be an energy vampire. Welcome back to St. Rose of London. We will be talking about energy vampires today, and thank you so much for all the people who've supported and all the lovely people who've had tarot readings with me. And in conversation, I thought, you know what, let's talk about energy vampires. You may have seen my previous video talking about how we can spot them out, how to handle energy vampires. Now, if you identify as having some of the traits of being an energy vampire, this video is for you. I'm going to be sharing tips on how to stop being an energy vampire, and this can also be used. You may just slip this video to someone who you think is an energy vampire, or you may just try to give these tips to people around you who you think are energy vampires. So without further ado, there may be clues around you to tell you that you are an energy vampire. Do people drop contact with you and just refuse to talk to you again out of nowhere, it seems? Do you feel kind of hopeless about being able to make your situation better in your life? Do you take accountability for bad things that happen to you often? And do you kind of find yourself fighting with close ones and loved ones of yours? Now, there's so many other clues, but if you kind of get the vibe that you're answering yes to a lot of these questions, then you may be an energy vampire, okay? So, you have to listen to what people say, right? Do people kind of say to you, if they have the guts to, do they say to you, oh, I can't talk right now, like I'll call you like back another time? Or do they kind of say like, oh, I just feel so tired, I need to go home? I'm going to give you some lovely tips on how to kind of stop being an energy vampire for your friends and family and co-workers and everyone you come into contact with. So number one, the fact that you're on this video, if you are an energy vampire, is a good thing. We're halfway there, okay? So it's about the awareness, okay? It's about being aware of when you are draining someone's emotional energy, yeah? Are you always bringing your problems to the same person, and why? Is it because that person always listens endless advice to you that you don't listen to, probably? And, why this one person? Because at the end of the day, we're all humans. We want to talk about our problems and try to find solutions, or just literally get some frustration off us. But we don't want to be dumping our stuff on other people. We can vent, but we shouldn't be dumping, okay? So it's about an awareness of your actions, an awareness and respect for other people, yeah? So you want to be aware when you're being an energy vampire. And when you do find yourself being one, maybe just pull back and say, oh, so how's your day? How's things going for you? How do you feel today? Give back to someone, yeah? Instead of, taking from them, yeah? So that's one way. Being self-aware, noticing when you're being an energy vampire, and trying to backtrack, okay? Say, no, okay, I've spoken enough about me. I don't want to dump my stuff on you. I'm not going to do that to you. Let's talk about you. How's your day? How's things going with you? Okay. Number two is practice gratitude and appreciation for the things that you do have. We find, the energy vampires, they have crises, they always have a problem, and it's about just stepping back and saying, you know what, I have things to be actually happy about. Today I'm probably annoyed about this, but today I'm not going to focus on it. I will focus and shift my mindset onto something I appreciate, something I am grateful for, yeah? And just a simple act of doing that every day, every so often, will help to shift out of negative mindsets. And this is kind of linked onto the next one. It's being able to show appreciation for others. So, you know, again, it's kind of like just giving back the energy to someone. Give them back the energy that you took. Okay? You say, how are you doing? Giving that person space to talk and actually listen to them, not think about the next thing that you're going to dump on them. Yeah? So, you know, give them back that energy. Say, you know what, I know I have been like in this really stressful situation, and I know like I've kind of spoken about it way too much, and like, you know what, I'm just going to do this for you because I really truly appreciate the time that you've given me. And you know what, sometimes when, let's say, because we're not born energy vampires, right? You know, sometimes we're just having a really tough spell in our life and we become an energy vampire, right? So even the simple act of saying, I appreciate the time you've given me, I appreciate you listening and holding space for me, I really appreciate you, thank you so much. Yeah? Even just having that little appreciation to someone will kind of give them a little uplift, like, okay, it was stressful and tiring talking to you, but at least you appreciate it, because that is what annoys people, and that's what makes them disappear, because they're like, you know what, he or she didn't even appreciate my time and energy, and now I feel like poo. Okay? So remember to appreciate those who listen to you. Now, another thing is you can ask for permission. So remember, we don't want to dump. If we have to, we will vent. But before we vent, let's ask permission. It may look something like this. You say, hi, Dee. Hi, Dee. You know, I've just had such a bad day. Is it okay if I can just tell you about it and just vent a little bit? Is that okay? That person then has the opportunity to say, yeah, go for it, I'm here to listen to you. Or that person says, you know what, I want to give you time to really like vent. Let's have a phone call in 2 hours time when I'm a bit more free. Or that person just says, oh, can we talk about this later? Because honestly, I've had such a bad day too. You know what I mean? So you're asking permission to be able to vent a little bit. Okay? You may not be looking for advice. You may just want to, you know, just vent a little bit, okay? But do ask permission if you feel like you may be stepping into energy vampire territory. Ask permission and see where that person is, because before you ask permission as well, you can kind of gauge that person's, you know, feeling. Because as I said, you know, in my example where I was crying on the phone and that person didn't even know, if they had just had a normal conversation with me and asked me how I am, then, you know, you could have just kind of gauged, like, maybe this is not the best time for me to be venting. Let me just listen to what my friend needs. Let me listen to my friend who's in more need, okay? So, another, I think one of the major things, this should have been first really, but last but not least, find and reflect on the cause of your energy vampire actions. What is the root cause that makes you have a tendency to act in this way? So could it be, you know, you've always felt a need for validation or a need for attention? You know, did you feel like, you know, you wasn't getting enough of this in your life? So therefore, you know, you try to always get validation from people. Or is it you maybe have a lack of accountability? So you think every bad thing has had no part to play on your part, if that makes sense. Are you taking any accountability for any actions or anything that happens? For example, like, let's say your bad day started because you missed the train and then you were late for work and then your boss had told you off. That sounds so childish, but then your boss told you off. Then you was in a bad mood, therefore you know, did really bad in your presentation at work, and it just keeps going on. Now, the whole day started because you woke up late, right? But you didn't say, you know what, I should have woken up earlier, and I knew I had to, but I didn't. And therefore the consequence was I missed the train. Or did you say, oh, TFL, always late, like they made me late, why me? You get me? So, and then another accountability is, okay, one bad thing happened. Did you try and work on your vibration and say, you know what, I'm not gonna let this stress me out. I'm gonna have a good day today, okay? Listen to some upbeat music, you know, get into the office, say like, you know, smile at 10 people and, you know, trying your best to get out of your bad start of the day. Or did you continue to be in a bad mood and then have all these things reflect around you of your bad mood and then say, my manager's horrible, or this workplace is horrible, or they didn't like my presentation because they didn't understand it. Like, you 100% get what I'm trying to say. So, and the last one I have is, do you feel like maybe it's because of a lack of awareness? Maybe you just don't know that you're being an energy vampire, right? And these three things, need for validation or attention, lack of accountability, and the lack of awareness of what's actually going on, these can kind of reinforce each other, you know? Lack of awareness, therefore I'll continue to have a lack of accountability, you know? So it's really important to have that self-awareness and start working on it and finding the root cause of what's making you be an energy vampire. So for example, if it's a need for validation, you say, you know what, I'm going to tackle this problem head on, okay? I have a need for validation, and I'm going to do the inner work to change this and to bring this around. So I am not going to look for others' opinions. I'm not going to look to be validated by others. I'm going to validate myself, okay? I'm going to, you know, be self-aware, be accountable. I'm going to praise myself for the good work I do. I'm going to be grateful, and I'm going to validate myself, okay? So I'm not always going to be dependent on that one friend who will always give me reassurance and encouragement. So let's say you're in a situation and you're like, I know I'm right, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to call my friend for the 10th time today and get her reassurance and get her validation that I'm correct. You get what I'm saying? So I think that's one of the most important things, is finding the root cause, because often the energy vampire behavior is a symptom of something else. So find the cause, deal with the symptom. So that is it. I hope from this video that any energy vampires, you know, have some tips to work on now so they can eradicate that behavior. Your friends, your family will love you for the work that you are doing on yourself. Open and honest conversations, and people will support you on not being an energy vampire. So I want to say like, share and subscribe so I can keep going for you. Please message me if there's anything you want me to talk about, or just share my opinion on. Sending you love and peace and joy and abundance and literally everything. I'm so happy you listened, and I hope you had some great tips. I will see you soon. When I've lost my foot, giving back. So now I've lost it. That's it.